Hello everybody, I am so sorry today. I am having some network problems. There is some building going on outside, so I'm not sure if it's that. Right, I hope you can hear me. I'm just going to look on my page and see that I'm streaming okay and you can hear me. I'm hoping the internet lasts, so if it doesn't, I will have to redo this video. Bear with me one sec. That lasts, so yeah. All right, I'm on. Okay, so I'm Victoria Zeed and I help families affected by loved ones, problem drinking or drug use to change their lives. And I do this by teaching really effective strategies to cope, focusing on my clients' well-being, just really focusing on the things that work to allow your loved one to understand that they need to make changes and steering away from the things that don't work, which most family members are doing because they're in a state of stress and very reactive and not so much strategic. So that's what I help with. I've got a really exciting 28-day program coming out that I'm spending today planning it. So I am looking forward to that. Look out for it. In today's 10 at 11 session, I am talking about how do you know if your loved one has a problem? And this is something really that I feel is important because a lot of families don't reach out for help, either because they're still trying to work out whether their loved one's drinking or drug use is important enough to reach out for help. So that's the purpose of today, really, to just go through some of that criteria that clinicians use with you. So you really understand that and you realize actually that, it doesn't matter whether you think it's serious enough. The fact that it's affecting you is enough for you to reach out for help. Okay. Let me know in the comments if you are watching, where you're watching from. If you don't feel comfortable commenting, that is absolutely fine. Drop me a message. Let me know what you think of the video. Let me know if you need any help. And if I can't help you, I will know somebody else that can. All right. So how do you know if your loved one has a problem? I'm going to talk to you today about the 11 criteria from what we know as the DSM-5. And for those of you that don't know, that stands for the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders. I don't like the word disorder, but anyway, it's not up to me, is it? And it's used to diagnose mental health, mainly in the US, but people use it in other countries as well. And I think it's just important to go through each of those criteria quickly today, go through this in a little bit more depth in my programs, but let's have a look at it. So number one, is your loved one taking their substance in larger amounts or for longer than they intended? If they're taking more of the substance, you might not know these things for sure, but you've probably got a good idea. So some of the things you won't know at all, some of the things you will know. It depends on your situation. It depends on how you talk about the issue. It depends if your loved one's in denial. It depends on what you observe, right? So do you feel like they're taking their drug or alcohol use in larger amounts or for longer than they intended? So for example, did they used to have a bottle of wine with you and you'd share it over a meal, and now they're having 3? Okay, so that's an example of that. Number 2, wanting to cut down or stop using the substance but not managing to. So the second one is, have you heard them talking about cutting down? Have they said they want to stop, but then they've not been able to do that? So if that's a yes, then, that meets that criteria. Are they spending a lot of the time getting, using, or recovering from their substance? So that's important, isn't it? And remember, we don't focus on the word addiction or addict because we get an image, a visual, and a kind of representation of what that might be like. We're not talking about addiction or dependency or anything like that. We're talking about substance use and how that affects you and your family member. So are they spending a lot of time getting, using, or recovering from the use of the substance? So is it taking up quite a lot of time in the week? Is it every weekend? Is it, every day? Is it, whatever it is? It doesn't matter about the frequency really here. We're just talking about, are they spending a lot of time using, recovering, or recovering from the use? Are they having cravings and urges to use the substance? So, that kind of language, oh, I need a drink, I want a drink, I'm having a drink, or even not even talking about it, just it being a regular part of the pattern. Yeah. Are they having those cravings? Can you recognize that? Are there any signs of that in your loved one? Are they not managing to fulfill everything they need to do at work, at home, or school because of the substance use? So, have you got children with your loved one? Is it your partner? Are they able to parent effectively or not? Are they getting to school? Are they getting to work? You might have a child who's using substances. Are they able to get to school or college? Yes or no? Because that's a problem, isn't it? So, yeah, that's another criteria. Are they continuing to use even when it causes problems in your relationship? So if they're continuing to use, even though it is causing problems, you've identified that is a problem, and that carries on, then that hits that criteria. Okay. Are they giving up important social, occupational, or recreational activities because of substance use? So this one is really key. We know that substance use, drugs and alcohol, caffeine, sugar, whatever, it affects our reward system, our dopamine neurotransmitter in the brain. So when we use a substance, we get something out of it. We get rewarded within our brain, okay? It makes us feel good to some degree. So they're going to do more of that. And doing more and more of that means that there's less and less interest in other things. So that's why that's important. Are they giving up important social, occupational, or recreational activities because of substance use? Are they using substances again and again, even when it puts them in danger? So your loved one might have got in pretty dangerous situations. They might have got in a car and driven. They might have, ended up with committing an offence. They might have put your children at risk. They might have put you at risk. They might have got into whatever it is. If their substance use is leading to danger, then and they're carrying on, then that meets that criteria. Are they continuing to use even when they know they have a physical or psychological problem that could have been caused or made worse by the substance? So have they been hospitalized as a result of their drinking or drug use, but they're still drinking? That is an example of that. Or they're still using the substances, or I've been working recently with opiate users, so injecting heroin, people who inject heroin, right? And some have injected into the groin, and they've got DVTs, deep vein thrombosis, and swelling, and abscesses, and all sorts of things, but they're still using. So that's an example of that. It might be someone that's using cocaine that is experiencing severe mood swings, depression. We've got psychosis, drug-induced psychosis in some cases, and people still use. All right, so that hits that criteria. Are they needing more of the substance to get the effect that they want? So, it's like the first time people use substances, they might have a fantastic time. They might experience euphoria. They might everything about it might be positive. It might not be, but then they're trying to get back to that point. But actually, as their substance use progresses, they don't they're never going to get there again, because it shifts like the pattern of their use. It might be just more around they might need to take more of the drug to get the same effect, or reach that similar effect that they had. All right, and then finally, number 11 is developing of withdrawal symptoms, which can be relieved by taking more of a substance. So are they experiencing shaking, sweating, tremors, fits, anything like that that they're only relieving by using more of the substance. So this is where we're kind of going into the realm of dependency, where the body needs a substance in order to live, in order to survive. So what we have to do at that point is ensure that somebody has medical treatment. So in drug treatment services, we would then be looking at either a really safe reduction program, but with the support of medical interventions. I am not a medical practitioner, so we'll be looking at either a really slow withdrawal process, a slow detox that's managed, or we'll be looking at, a community-based detox, or going off to get a detox with medical practitioners for a stay. You can get home detoxes as well. All right, so we've gone through all the 11 criteria, and the way it works is you've got to remember that this criteria is used by trained clinicians and medical professionals, not us, but it gives you an idea of how they figure out the extent of the disorder, right? And what the criteria are. And I think that's really helpful to know, because a lot of families will sit there and think, oh, I don't know if it's serious enough. Oh, well, they're on and off, or, oh, well, they're only doing it once a week. They don't do it in the week. Oh, well, they don't drink in the morning. So, but actually, when you look at that criteria, you can see that it's problematic. And for a lot of us, you can look at that criteria and think, oh, actually, there's a few things I need to change myself there. So the way it works is that 2 or 3 symptoms indicate a mild substance use disorder. Again, a word that I do not like, but anyway, we can challenge that as we go along. 4 or 5 symptoms indicate a moderate substance use disorder, and 6 or more symptoms indicate a severe substance use disorder. Well, I've got to remember with this stuff, they have to quantify it somehow. So like a mild substance use disorder, for example, if somebody's got withdrawal symptoms, that wouldn't necessarily be mild. And that's why it needs clinicians to look at this. So you might be like, well, I've seen them shaking, but they haven't got any others, so therefore they're all right. That isn't the case. You've got somebody that's experienced withdrawal symptoms and has to have a drink or take their drug to be able to feel okay. That's serious, and that needs treatment. All right. So hope that helps today. It just gives us an idea of how that works. And it basically doesn't really matter whether your loved one has a few of these or a lot of these. The point here is that, if you think it's causing you a problem, and it is causing you a problem, you as the affected family member, friend, partner, colleague, whoever you are, can get help now for yourself to be able to cope, and also to have the best chance of getting your loved one to accept the help that they need. And if you want that, then please get in touch with me, because I can help you. And just remember that I'm just going to show you this. You can get my free download. It doesn't cost you any money here. That isn't even the one. Ignore me at vestaapproach.co.uk/freebie. And that gives you my top 10 tips for family recovery that you can just have a look. It goes into your email inbox and you can start straight away. All right. Hope that was helpful, and I will see you next week.